Have you ever felt something deeper stirring beneath the noise? A quiet knowing that you're part of something more, something bigger than you, but not separate from you. I used to rock climb and camp, even a little mountaineering. But what I remember most vividly wasn't just the physical challenge. It was the nights, sitting out under the stars with no light pollution, no hum of traffic or pinging of devices, just the vast, silent sky. Or the summit of a hike, looking out at the raw, untouched landscape. Something about being in that silence strips away the noise and the false sense of connection we've built around screens and busyness. There's a different energy in nature. It's more powerful, more loving, more magnetic than anything man-made. And the longer you sit in it, the more you start to notice the way the trees seem to breathe together. How certain birds call it dawn to wake the flowers, so the bees and the hummingbirds can feed. The way a tree can grow from the side of a face rock, somehow thriving in the impossible. Have you ever seen a billy goat scale a mountain wall with the kind of grace that looks like magic? It's not coincidence. It's intelligence woven into the fabric of life. And it makes me wonder, is everything just random? Or is there a purpose in this design? We talk about passion and purpose like they're optional. But for most of us, meaning is essential. It's what gets us out of bed. It's what keeps our hearts open to give, to help, to serve. That is purpose. Purpose doesn't have to be loud. It's in the way we show up for someone who's hurting. It's making a meal with love. It's in the art we create when no one's watching. These quiet offerings shape the energy we bring into the world. And they're just as sacred as any grand mission. To be part of something bigger, not above, not below, but connected to all things. That's spirituality. And this is the realm of the spiritual body. And no, it's not about religion. Let's start with the basics. Religion is a structured set of beliefs and practices, often tied to sacred texts, rituals, or institutions. It's the belief in the worship of a superhuman power, especially a god or gods. Spirituality, on the other hand, is a personal lived experience. It's a journey of seeking meaning, purpose, and connection with something greater than yourself. It's not about worship. It's about remembering. Religion often asks us to believe. Spirituality invites us to feel. Both paths can be powerful. But spirituality, as we're exploring it today, is not tied to dogma. It's tied to presence. In the body awareness method, we talk about the 4 bodies: the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. The spiritual body is your awareness of the whole, the thread that weaves you into the universe. It's not a belief system. It's a lifestyle of reverence, a way of being that honors life in all its forms. And here's the thing. We often don't access the spiritual body until we've cleared some of the noise from the other 3. When the physical body begins to feel safe, when the emotional body is no longer clogged with unprocessed pain, and the mental body quiets its loops, then we can hear the whisper of the soul. Spirituality lives in the forest, and in the ocean, and in the mountains, and in the deserts. It lives where you live. It lives in the eyes of your dog, in the soil beneath your feet, in your grandmother's hands. It's remembering that you are nature. You are part of it, not above it, and not separate from it. One of the simplest ways I define spiritual alignment is this: in my highest good and the highest good of all. In my highest good and the highest good of all. That phrase anchors the self to the collective. It reminds us that we are not here alone, and that every choice we make, when rooted in love, ripples outward. And for me, I didn't start feeling the pull of the spiritual body until I had already done a lot of emotional evacuation. I had to sit in the discomfort of stillness, where there was nothing left to fix or plan. That's where I began to feel the deeper current underneath everything. Something wise, quiet, and always loving. That's when I realized this isn't about achieving anything. It's about remembering what's already there. There have been moments when I've been driving or sitting in silence, and suddenly I feel it. That soft, radiant sense of being held. Not by someone, but by something. A sense of safety I had never felt before. The universe has it under control. The universe has it under control, so I don't have to. I don't need to figure anything out in that moment. I just need to be. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions out there about spirituality. So let's name a few. Here's one: that spirituality is vague or flaky or woo-woo. This misconception comes from how spirituality is often portrayed. Soft words, incense, vague platitudes. But true spirituality is anything but vague. It's courageous. It asks you to strip away all the illusions, confront your ego, and live from a place of integrity. It's not fluff. It's clarity. And it often requires more bravery than conformity. Here's another misconception: that you have to meditate or do yoga or look a certain way to be spiritual. Spirituality isn't an aesthetic. It doesn't care if you wear mala beads or jeans. It's not reserved for the flexible or the serene. You don't have to live in Bali, burn sage, or chat in Sanskrit. You can be spiritual and gritty. You can be spiritual and loud. You can be spiritual in Target, in traffic, or while doing the dishes. It's about intention, not image. And here's a third one: that being spiritual means you're always calm, kind, or peaceful. This is a big one. Spirituality doesn't mean you won't get angry. It doesn't mean you don't set boundaries. Being spiritual isn't about being nice. It's about being real. And sometimes the most spiritual act is saying no, or walking away, or speaking a hard truth. True spiritual awareness doesn't make you perfect. It makes you present. Spiritual awareness doesn't ignore suffering. It expands your capacity to hold it in love. It's not about bypassing hard things. It's about meeting them with presence. It's not about image. It's about integrity. And it's not about ever losing your center. It's about returning to it again and again. So, how do you know if you're awakening spiritually? Well, you might feel a pull towards nature, like the forest, the ocean, or the sky is calling you back home. You may begin to notice synchronicities, those moments where life seems to be nudging you without meaning, or so we think. Some people start seeing repeating numbers. Others feel a persistent shift in their awareness. You may find yourself turning off the noise, craving quiet. You might wake up with a knowing that wasn't there the night before. Something that clicks into place without explanation. Personally, I ask for this kind of knowing when I'm grappling with a direction to take or trying to understand something that hasn't yet become clear. And often, when I release the fact that there's no need to force an answer, clarity arrives. You might also start choosing peace over performance. And most of all, you begin asking, what feels aligned? Instead of, what will they think? That one shift changes everything. I've always had this deep sense that everything happens for a reason, that there are no coincidences. I honestly don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's something I came into this life with already knowing. But without the wisdom that comes from living through experience, that knowing was like an ungrounded spark. And so life gave me the experiences I needed to grow into it. Not as punishment, but as a way to let me fumble, to get off track, to forget truth long enough to find my way back to it. I don't look at those hard moments as evidence that something was wrong. I see them as a part of the remembering. Because sometimes the way back home starts by losing the map completely. And here's the thing about spiritual awakening or awareness. It doesn't happen all at once. The grand door doesn't suddenly open. There are no trumpets that sound to let you know you've arrived. Sometimes there's a big life-altering moment, sure. But more often, it comes in waves. A quiet nudge when you don't feel like you can keep going. A sprinkle of remembering when you need it most. A subtle shift in how you see, how you choose, how you move through the world. That is the real awakening. It's layered. It's lived. And it unfolds in its own time. If you're listening to this and thinking, I don't feel that yet, you're not behind. Spiritual awakening doesn't follow a schedule. Sometimes it's quiet for a long time. Sometimes it whispers so softly, you miss it. That's okay. The fact that you're even asking questions, that you're here right now, means it's already begun. Let's take a moment together. Close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Take a breath. And imagine yourself as a single thread in a vast web of life. That web stretches through time, through space, through every being. Now ask yourself, what does it mean to live in a way that serves the whole? What does it mean to live in a way that serves the whole? Let that question guide one small action today. And if that question feels big, that's okay. You don't need a perfect answer. Sometimes living in alignment starts with one quiet decision. How you speak to yourself. What you say yes to. What you release. There's no rush. Just a willingness to listen. What does it mean to live in a way that serves the whole? Now gently bring your awareness to your chest. Notice it rise and fall. Let yourself soften just a little. No need to rush. There's nothing to fix here, only space to feel. Go ahead and open your eyes if they were closed. Keep your breath steady. Do you feel the space you've just created? You don't need to understand all of this right now. In fact, spirituality often asks us to feel before we try to define. Let's move out of our minds and into our bodies for just a moment. Before we close, take one more moment. Notice your body. Notice your breath. You don't need to be anywhere else right now. Just let yourself land inside this moment of awareness. This is where the spiritual body lives. Here, not out there. Take a deep breath through your nose. Hold it at the top for just a second too long. Then gently release it through your mouth. As you breathe out, allow yourself to release what is not yours. Let it fall away. No need to name it or understand it. Just let it go and notice what remains. The spiritual body isn't something you find. It's something you remember. And every time you choose connection over separation, reverence over reaction, you come home to it. As we close out season 1 of Who Are You Now? I want to thank you for walking with me through this journey of awareness. From the physical body all the way to the spiritual. We've explored the roots of change, the whispers of emotion, and the patterns of the mind. And now, the pull of the soul. We began with the physical body, where change begins in the body before it makes sense in the mind. Then we moved to the emotional body, exploring what happens when we feel what we've avoided. The mental body taught us to separate story from truth. And now here we are, learning that spirituality is not a concept. It is a way of seeing. This may be the end of the season, but it's just the beginning of what's to come. Season 2 will take us deeper into truth, self-trust, and the readiness to move into aligned action. Our shift has ended for today and for this season. But you've only just begun to remember who you really are.